other big story tonight, shock in a central Ohio town after a police officer was shot and killed. It happened in the village of Danville, that's in Knox County, overnight. Around 11:20 last night, a woman called 911 and said her ex-boyfriend, Herschel Ray Jones III, had beaten her, was heavily armed, and wanted to kill a police officer. Just a half hour later, Danville police officer Thomas Cottrell was found shot to death behind the Danville Municipal Building. Within 2 hours, Jones was in custody. He hasn't yet been charged with murder, but the Knox County chief prosecutor says he expects that to change very soon.
Officer Cottrell's death has sent shockwaves to the normally quiet community. NBC4's Candace Lee live in Danville tonight where she spoke with the neighbors about how they're dealing with what happened. Candace?
That's right, Mike. You know, just outside the Danville Municipal Center, you can see that a small memorial has been put up in honor of Officer Thomas Cottrell. There's flowers here, and there's also a sign that says he lived a hero, died a hero. Rest in peace, Officer Tom Cottrell. In this very tight community of Danville, they are very shocked, including one 80-year-old woman who has lived here all her life. She says nothing like this has ever happened here. Inside Hull's sportswear shop in downtown Danville, 80-year-old Maxine Hull and daughter Kim Grasbaugh remember a time when life was simpler and safer here.
It's always been family farm, and everybody knew one another. Yeah, it's been a wonderful town to grow up in. My parents lived here. My kids were raised here.
But that innocence and family feel is now gone, shattered last night. Investigators with the Knox County Sheriff's Office suspect Herschel Jones III gunned down Danville police officer Thomas Cottrell just outside the municipal building. Jones's ex-girlfriend made this chilling call to 911.
My ex-boyfriend's out in camo looking to kill a cop. He's got guns on him. He's already beaten me and threatened to kill me.
Kim Grasbaugh says she woke to the news this morning, a crime they don't see here.
It's usually just a speeding ticket or just any little minor thing. You know, this is really something that we just don't have here.
Officer Cottrell's body was discovered around 11:45 last night, but it would take Knox County deputies another 2 hours to find and arrest Jones near Danville Park. Mother and daughter agree while robberies and thefts have been on the rise, violent crimes like this rarely occur.
I think it's people moving into the area and a lot of drugs. And it's just getting to be that with all the small communities, I'm afraid.
But fear won't stop this town and its 1,000 residents. Maxine is confident they will rally and remain strong.
It's so family oriented that people would try to help one another and help the family. That's our main thing now.
And tonight, Herschel Jones III is in the Knox County Jail. He is being held there on some probation violation charges. And as Colleen said just a few minutes ago, the Knox County prosecutor expects to file murder charges as early as tomorrow. Reporting live from Danville, Candace Lee, NBC4.
Thank you, Candace. Those who knew Officer Cottrell are mourning his loss tonight. Those we spoke with earlier today described him as a kind and good man who loved his community.
He was great with the kids. He stepped up to coach a baseball team when I couldn't get anybody else to coach, and loved it. He had a good time.
I felt very safe. I felt if something happened, I'd go to him and he'd solve it.
A fellow first responder told us 2 of his children want to be police officers and that he credits Officer Cottrell's positive influence for those aspirations. Cottrell was in his mid-30s and was the father of 3 daughters.
You know, we did some digging into the past of the suspect, Herschel Ray Jones III. We found a criminal record stretching back more than a decade. Jones was released from prison in April of 2015 after he was sentenced to 3 years and 11 months for receiving stolen property and illegal possession of chemicals for manufacture of drugs. In 2009, Jones was convicted of burglary and receiving stolen property. In 2008, he was convicted of breaking and entering.
We also spoke to Jones' brother, and he believes that this could have been prevented. He says last week family members called Herschel's parole officer to say he was violating his parole and that he was illegally in possession of weapons, but nothing was done. He says he spoke to his brother on the phone just before the brother was arrested early this morning.
He already had done what he done. He still didn't admit it to me. That's how far out of his mind he was. I think he completely went over the edge. You know, I don't even think he realized cops were outside the house. That's how bad it was.
John Jones says his brother had taken a quantity of Klonopin, an anti-anxiety drug prescribed as part of his drug treatment.
This is a story we'll continue to update both on air and online. Stay with NBC4 at NBC4i.com as we learn more about Officer Cottrell, the suspect, Herschel Jones III, and what exactly happened on Sunday night.